Well, whew, interesting times, right? Welcome in. This is the Bitcoin Crypto Weekly Close, and I am the Crypto Bull God. So thank you for joining me once again on this beautiful, beautiful, happy Sunday as people prepare for God knows what this week in the markets. So if you appreciate the content, you appreciate my honesty with the chart evaluations that we're about to get into, make sure you hit the thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, and drop me a comment. So the crypto markets are about to close in 1 minute. I have a lot of charts that I'm about to get into. What I wanted to start off with actually was thank you to everyone new who's tuning in. Make sure to subscribe to the content if you appreciate the content. What I wanted to actually start off with, I actually tweeted this out. If you're not following me on Twitter at Crypto Bull God, you want to make sure to give me a follow. You know, I had pointed to Alessio Rastani's video on the death kiss or kiss of death. Death kiss? Did I just say death kiss? Kiss of death. But anyway, it's a really good video, in my opinion, in terms of explaining sort of, what this chart formation could mean for the stock market and in turn cryptocurrencies as well. And Alessio Rastani is a very, very well-respected technician. He's someone whose opinions I place a lot of value on, whether I agree or disagree with his opinions. I take them to heart in terms of what he's saying. So basically, I had asked everyone to watch that video who was tuning into this live stream. I'm not going to go into depth in terms of what the kiss of death is. And this is actually something I had covered on the prior live stream. Welcome in, Brendan. This is something I had spoken to on a prior live stream, but essentially what happens is when you're looking at the S&P on a monthly chart, and I know this is a week, by the way, we closed out the week on the Bitcoin and crypto charts, so we're going to take a look at some of those charts here in a moment, but let me get into the bread and butter here of what I wanted to talk about first. So what happens here on an S&P chart, if you're looking at a monthly view, you get a monthly candlestick, as you can see here, that closes below the 21 EMA, which is denoted by the blue line up. And then what you want to see is the low that's created by this candlestick right here, which was at 36.36. You don't want to see that get taken out. If it gets taken out, that is called the kiss of death, okay? And you can see the monthly close for September was mega bearish, okay? Not only did we take out the low, but we printed this fat red body, and the month closed at the lowest point that it had been at in the entire month. That's the story that's thick. We opened, let me just paint the story for you. We opened here. This is where we opened. We went all the way up here, but we managed to come all the way down here and close at the lowest part of the entire month. Not good to see. Not good to see. For everyone new joining, appreciate the support if you could hit the thumbs up button. John, welcome in. It's good to see you on the I'm used to seeing you on the happy hour, but I used to seeing you on the weekly close. Welcome in. Good to see you. And appreciate the support and what you're saying. Yeah, hitting the thumbs up button with whatever appendage you want takes less than a second and helps the channel out. But what I wanted to get into, and I would encourage you, if you have not watched Alessio Rastani's video, I would encourage you to watch his video. And I think the concerns that he expresses, and I think the way he words things are very well worded and very sort of reminiscent of how I tend to word things. Probabilities. There are no certainties based on this formation. There's none. And he says this much. There's only probabilities, okay? So given this close on the monthly candlestick, okay, this has increased the probability that we could see. Listen to the words that I'm using. This increases the probability that we could see significant downside and a very long bear market. I agree with his thoughts on that. It increases the probability. But I want to take it a step further than I feel like his video did. I think one thing I wish that his video would have gone into is how many times have we seen a kiss of death, okay? And how many times has it resulted in a significant correction, to really not just being a moot point and really not being much of a correction at all, and we saw a bounce back, right? So I'm going to look back to the period all the way going back to 1960, okay? So we're going to look at 80 years, over 80 years of price data. And what I want you to focus on, ignore these green horizontal lines, okay? Ignore the green horizontal lines. What I want you to focus on are the orange horizontal lines and the red horizontal lines. And what I have noted here is that since 1960, there have been 11 total occurrences for the kiss of death. Okay, 7 of them resulted in it really being not much of an event or not really bad of a correction, maybe a 5% correction, 8% correction. And 4 of those 11 occurrences, which are denoted by red horizontal lines, ended up being a significant correction and something that we should be concerned about. So if we go back in time, the last time we saw a kiss of death was here. And as you can see, this was a non-event, okay, orange line. This was back in 2008, and obviously this was the great financial crisis, okay? This ended up being a huge, significant downturn in the economy back in 2008, for those that were here and remembered it. Here's another red line. You can see this was back in 2001, the dot-com era. This was a significant correction. We have to go all the way back to 1990, okay? And as you can see, when we got the kiss of death here, this was a non-event, okay? Again, another orange line, non-event, back in 81, okay? Back in 77, really a non-event, okay? Back in 73, this was a major correction down. You can see all this price movement down, major correction. Back in 69, Back in 69, significant correction, okay? Back in 66, glad there's not another 6 in there. We don't want 3 6s. That's the mark. Back in, computer, look at this, freezing up on me. Back in both 1960 and 1962, it was a non-event. So what I would say is, from a statistical standpoint, in the past 82 years, okay, almost 83 years, okay, now this line is black because it has yet to be determined. 7 out of 11 occurrences were really a non-event, not a big deal. 4 of the 11 occurrences were a really big correction. So from a probability standpoint, this is telling us, if we use this alone, and again, no chart, no single chart can tell us the direction of price with certainty, but again, this is a data point. That's all it is, and it's giving us a probability based on this one view, right? So based on this one view, it's assessing a 36% probability that we will see significant downturn and a very long bear market. There is, in turn, though, a 64% probability it will be a significant event. So it is something to keep an eye on. The other thing he points out, which is very common when you see patterns like this play out, not that we would drop instantaneously from October going into January. We would actually see, if this were to drop to the downside, we would see relief up into this area, okay, never taking out this high here. We would see some relief in this area to fool people, call it a dead cat bounce, and then we would see some downturn action here. So again, 2/3, based on the probabilities here, on the past 82 years of price data, 2/3 of a probability that it's really not going to be much of an event, and a 1/3 probability that it's going to be a significant event. So, is my audio breaking up for everyone? Let me know if the audio is okay. I apologize. Josh, thanks for bringing that up. I apologize that the feed is breaking out. I'm not really sure what the issue is. I don't really know. Hot damn. I'm sorry, guys. I don't know why the connection is so bad. I'm not really sure. Okay. I'll try not to speak so close to the microphone. I apologize. I'm not really sure what's going on. It sounds like a connection issue, not a sound issue. Let's actually get into the Bitcoin chart. Thanks for bringing that to my attention. So this is one view that we looked at actually last week, and I had spoken to the stochastic RSI. Again, no indicator. There's no one indicator that tells you with certainty the direction of price, right? But what I had looked at was when the stochastic RSI had crossed above 20, okay, when the blue was above the orange and the 20, and then we got a negative cross, I spoke to the probabilities associated going back in time when we would see how likely it was we would see a significant correction, and when we would see it was really not much of an event. I believe the probability was 74% of the time we saw this, it was really not an event. Excuse me, 26% of the time. It started as soon as you said 666. And I believe it was 26% of the time it was resulted in a significant correction. And I had commented at that point that it was my educated opinion that it really wouldn't be much of an event. Well, look what's happening right now. Okay, we had this cross here. You can see on this candle, we got this cross right down here. But if we focus on the stochastic RSI and the current candlestick, look what's happening here. We're starting, depending how this week prints out, we could see a cross back above 20, right? We could see this cross back above 20 and go back up. So just something to keep an eye on, that currently with the current price action that's going on, it could result in a break back above 20, which would be good to see. These are the Heiken Ashi candles on the weekly. You can see these are, again, momentum indicators based on the color of the candlestick. If you graduated from kindergarten and you know the distinction between red and green, then it's pretty easy to see what's going on here. Let's get off the RSI. Red is not good, okay? It means that the trend is to the downside, and green is good because the trend is to the upside. You can see we're still printing red candlesticks. The other thing, which is not good to see. The other thing that's not good to see right now on the weekly time frame, right? Let's just focus on the price action for a moment. The other thing that's not good to see, now we temporarily got above price here. We're still under this 200 SMA, guys. I keep hitting on this. We're still under the 200 simple moving average, okay? Not good to see, not what you want to see. Now, again, the other thing I want to point out real quick before I speak to this orange line, for those who aren't here, the one thing that is good to see on this chart, okay, that I do want to point out, we do see RSI increasing in value. Do you see this? You see this? As price has been pretty much flat. Price has basically been flat, and you could make the argument, actually, that price has been declining, okay? But RSI has been increasing. So there's a little bit of bullish divergence there that could potentially play out in the chart, so that's good to see. The other thing to point out in this chart, for those that aren't familiar with it, who weren't here when I spoke to it, what I'm doing with these measuring, I really want to explain this for a moment. What I did was, every single time, if we go back in history and we look at where Bitcoin bottomed, wherever the bottoming candle was, I took a look at the 200 simple moving average, and from the point of where the 200 simple moving average was at, where we had our bottoming candle, I measured the price appreciation up until our cycle top here, to our wave one movement here. I shouldn't say cycle top, our wave movement up here. Okay, this is 345%. You can see when we had our bottoming candle here during the beer virus, I measured from the 200 SMA all the way up here to 64,000. From the 200 SMA up, what I'm doing is I'm taking an average of these two returns, which is 680%. Okay, if you do that, for everyone new tuning in, make sure you're hitting the thumbs up button to support me. So if we take the median return or the average return between these two price points, all I'm saying is that that would take us up to 100 I thought it was 180, excuse me, but maybe it takes us up to 170. It looks like it takes us up to 170. I thought it was 180. But, okay, let's say 170,000. I'm not telling you that price is going to go to 170,000. That's not what this chart is telling you. All it's telling you is if we have bottomed based on history and taking the average return between these two price points, then what that's saying is price would come up to all the way to 170,000, which is not an unrealistic expectation. Also, time-wise, I think I measured out the time. This goes out to May of 2023. I forget how I measured out the time. I think it might have been the average of these two time frames here. But that's all that's going on there. I just wanted to make sure to kind of do a refresher on that. Now, the other thing that I wanted to hit on, excuse me, the other thing I wanted to hit on is, we are in the month of October now. Make sure to tune in to the Bitcoin Crypto Happy Hour on Wednesday. I will be live streaming on Wednesday. I've already ironed out the date I'm doing. I'll have a little bit of an announcement on something taking place towards the end of this month, at the beginning of the month, that's going to affect some of the YouTube content that I'm going to put out. So something something I'm excited to have done, and something I'm also a little nervous to get done, but shit's got to get done. So just kind of throwing it down the hatch and getting it done. But anyway, more to come on the happy hour on that. But this is a monthly view, right? We closed out a monthly candlestick. So I think it's important, not just from a weekly standpoint to see where we're at, but we've closed out the month of September. Let's see where we're at. Well, first off, everyone was making such a big deal out of September. September was a overused term, a nothing burger in terms of it being a big bloody month. I don't see anything here overly concerning. We're sort of just resting on this line here of about 17,700, 600. Okay, we're just sort of gravitating in this area. You can see here a couple things on the price indicators. First off, actually, let's take a look at the MACD. If we look at the MACD is the most oversold it's ever been. It's at the lowest levels it has ever been, okay? We definitely need to see this thing begin to flatten and curl up, okay? And for this orange line to curl up and see the cross there, okay? So that's the first thing. So the MACD is very oversold and at the lowest levels it has ever been at, okay? But let's take a look. The only other indicator I want to take a look at is the RSI. We sort of have a falling wedge, right? As I've said before, the patterns that you draw within a price chart are the same sort of price pattern, or the same sort of patterns that you can draw in price indicators. It works the same way, okay? So we have it wide up here, and then it sort of narrows, okay? This is a falling wedge. Now, this is bullish for a break to the upside, okay? Now, the question is, will we begin to churn up? And will we begin to take out some of these lower highs? Look, a high, a lower high, a lower high. Will we begin to come up here and negate this and create a higher high that's above here, maybe come down and a higher low, and then begin to create another higher high, which is higher than here? That's ideally what we want to see, okay? From a price indicator standpoint, just like we would want to see within the price data, okay? So on the monthly view, there isn't anything overly concerning here. We've sort of flattened out in price. You know, we had this huge drop. Look at this huge drop here. But since then, we've sort of just been consolidating. And again, that's why I would point you to the video that I have out on my YouTube channel. If you go to my YouTube channel, super quick, if you go to my YouTube channel, you will see that there is a video, and it is entitled, oh, where the heck is it? Bitcoin, the time is now. Bitcoin, the time is now. And if you go to that video, what you'll see is I point out 21 independent charts and data science models that all say that this here was just the ideal area to be accumulating, because more than likely we're going to continue to start churning up and creating higher highs and higher lows. Okay, so that's the monthly view on Bitcoin. Last thing I wanted to touch on Bitcoin. Why am I going full-time YouTube? Someday, my friends, someday. That is definitely the plan, but that's not in the cards right now. So full disclosure, would I like to go full-time? Actually, the way I would word it is, would I like to go full-time? Would I like to go full-time spending time in the cryptocurrency space? Not just YouTube, but in the cryptocurrency space? Abso-fucking-lutely. Just not there yet. But anyway, let's look at the 12-hour chart. Now, the reason I'm spending so much time looking at the Bitcoin charts is because if you haven't been here for a while, you know my educated view is that, I mean, it's the reality too. It's just, it's a fact. It's a fact. Is so goes Bitcoin, so goes the rest of the market. So it's very, very important to understand the health of Bitcoin such that that will tell you, and you can assess the overall health of the cryptocurrency market. Okay, so there's a lot of time that needs to be spent on Bitcoin. This is the 12-hour chart. There's another video that I have on my channel that gives you 3 simple steps and 3 simple charts to look at. To once you can kind of check off all 3 steps, you can feel convicted that the market is turning around. The first key chart is the 12-hour chart. We're starting at a more granular level. We really need things to turn around at a granular level, Okay, once things begin to turn around, once you zoom in and things are beginning to turn more bullish, as long as that's sustained, that will bleed over into the higher time frames. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. So on the 12-hour view, really what I'm laying out here are 3 clear, distinct steps. We need to get a push up in between the 50 and the 200 is above there. Okay, eventually what's going to happen is this will lead to a golden cross. Okay, this, once we get the golden cross, excuse me, and not only that we get a golden cross, but the 200 has flattened out. The 200 SMA has flattened out, which is the pink line. Once we see that and price action is above here, we can start to feel a lot more confident, not fully confident, but a lot more confident that we're headed in the right direction of bullish price action to the upside. This is really the first chart we need to be keeping an eye on in terms of bullish structure coming back to the market. And that's really the name of the game. For everyone new joining, make sure you hit the thumbs up button. That's really the name of the game. We need structure to develop in the market to really reinforce a bullish thesis, right? I can stand here all day and I can do macho man impersonations and be really corny, and I can try and think of funny things to do, and I can come on here and be super excited about the market, but it means absolutely nothing unless if there's actual structure being built within the charts that leave us feeling convicted that price action really is most likely going to continue to the upside. We haven't seen that yet. What we've seen, and I've spelled this out on Twitter, this whole thing, in my opinion, this is my educated view. All of this is designed to weed people out. Price has just gone like this. Look at this shit. I mean, it is fucking frustrating. We've been doing this since June, okay? June to July to August to September. We're going on 4 months of this fucking bullshit. This weeds people out. Like, if you can't read a chart and you don't know what's going on, this shit weeds you out, okay? You think that the market's dead. You think it's going nowhere. You think it's going lower. It weeds people out, okay? Money is never destroyed. It is merely transferred from the impatient to the patient. This is what we're talking about here. So what's been going on in particular in here, in my opinion, and for this to be validated, we need to see a push up soon. We need to. We've been consolidating. We need to see a push up, because the more we come down here and back test this area right in here, it's going to break. So we do need to see a push up. In the next week, we really need to begin to see price move up. We can't continue to hang out here. We've been consolidating down here long enough. This week, we need to see a movement up. We really do. I can't come to you next Sunday and the shit's still sitting around here. Like, we really need to at least get above 20,000. That's really what we need to begin to see, moving between the 50 and 200. All right, let's get off this chart. Ethereum, not much new to share here. The weekly close was bearish. Okay, this candlestick is not a bearish or not a bullish candlestick whatsoever. We have a thin red body and a huge wick coming up here, expressing seller exhaustion as we got up here. We need to get back above this red line. I mean, really, this is really simple. We've created a low, a high, and a higher low. Let's maintain the higher low. We could even come all the way down to here. We still have a higher low. But let's break this resistance, and this descending resistance. I've been talking about this shit for weeks. Nothing has changed on Ethereum. Bitcoin dominance, nothing has changed. We have a descending triangle. Not much to change. Not much has changed here. Okay? We could come all the way up here. Again, we could come all the way up here. We could wick up here, but candle body should close below this line, okay? Nothing has changed on Bitcoin dominance. Nothing has changed on my view in Bitcoin dominance, because nothing has changed in the chart on Bitcoin dominance. And if you want to know my view on Bitcoin dominance, again, I have a video on my channel that speaks to it. If you go to my profile, there's a pinned tweet here, has 13,000 views, with a link to the video that speaks to sort of my viewpoint on my expectations on Bitcoin dominance. I would check it out if you haven't. Dollar index, not much has changed. This is a bearish close on the dollar here, which is bullish for assets and for the cryptocurrency market. So that's good to see. This green line represents the first floor I want to see broken. So whenever we do come down here, this floor is around 107, 108. I need to see this broken to begin really believing we're going to continue putting in lower lows and lower highs. You can also see, I've spoken to this before, we have negative divergence on the RSI, okay? Lower highs Okay, a high, a lower high, and a lower high. All these lower highs are being printed as the dollar index in price terms is moving up. Okay, so there's all sorts of cracks underneath the foundation of this thing that are expressing exhaustion, and that this parabola, okay, what has been a parabola, the steam and the momentum is running out. I'm going to pause real quick because the next set of charts we're going to get into the Holy Crypto Trinity. And then we're also going to get into some low cap market coins that I just wanted to point out to people, just coins that I'm currently I've positioned myself in either today or I'm planning to later this week for the resulting final leg of this bull market, I believe, that's coming still in 2023. So any questions I can address, keep in mind, once I get to the end of these charts, there's always a live well, I'm live, right? Why the hell do I need to say live? By the way, for anyone new, hit the thumbs up button. Drop me a comment. If you're new to the channel, I'd appreciate knowing who's joining the channel. Is there anyone new tuning in? I see a lot of people who have been here before, which I appreciate. But is there anyone new tuning in? Curious if I'm reaching anybody new within the crypto sphere. But like I said, there's always a TA Q&A at the end of these segments. So you can ask me to chart anything you want me to chart, and I will bring it up from a crypto perspective, and we'll take a look at it. Let's see what we got here. Sounds like the sound is good. Yeah, nothing changes on ETH, including the gas fees. Yeah, that's true. Okay, so we're going to take a quick look at Harmony 1. Not too much has changed on the weekly. We're still consolidating in this area. We haven't taken out our low back here, so we're still creating higher lows and a high up here that we want to see eventually taken out. My view is I still think in the short term, Harmony 1 is going to come up here between 5.4 cents and 4 cents. I think we're going to hit that region. If it's not in October, if we do not hit it in October, depending on the movement, at some point in the fourth quarter, we're going to get back up in this region. Now, why do I have this blue line here? Well, if we go actually in a smaller time frame, what I was sort of drawing out here was a rounding bottom, right? You can sort of see this rounding bottom. I was drawing that out for my own personal view. But, in the short term, what I would say is it's the same thing for Harmony 1 as it is for Bitcoin, right? On the short term, what I want to see, I need to see a golden cross on the 12-hour. I want to see this purple 50 SMA get above the 200. So I need to see price. Price has been consolidating in this range. I need to see it push up here. This will cause the 50 to cross above the 200 and the 200 to flatten out and begin to Harmony 1 chart. So not much has changed. Same with H-bar. Same commentary on H-bar. This is the weekly view on H-bar. You can see 5.4 cents. I told you I don't want to see price go below 5.4 cents. Ultimately, we don't want to see it go below this wick here, but I don't want to see 5.4 cents break. You can see that right now we're just consolidating in this area. We eventually, what we need to see, I understand we're consolidating here. We need to break out above here and battle this region right here between 10.8 cents and this area of descending resistance. That's what we need. Once price, not if, but once price, for everyone new joining, make sure to hit the thumbs up button. That's my thumbs up button notation. Once we get up here, what are we doing? Well, we got a low, a high, a higher low, and a higher high, right? So as frustrating, look, I feel you. I feel you. As frustrating as the price is right now, what you have to do is remain patient and understand that at the moment, okay, and with every chart we've looked at the moment, we're still printing higher highs and higher lows, okay? Nothing has been negated about that bullish structure. Mana, I view this as an awesome opportunity to accumulate mana. If you are not in mana or you have mana and you want to increase your position, we are sitting at what, 68 cents. Jesus. Look where we're at right now. We're in this region back here in 2021 before we made our huge move up. We're right back in that same region. I just view this as an awesome opportunity to accumulate more mana. This thing is very undervalued with the rest of the market. And in my opinion, not financial advice, never financial advice, my educated view. What I like to see on the weekly, though, check out the MACD. It's beginning to flatten out, okay? I also have the, looks like I have the RSI here. Let's see what we got. Yeah, not too much going on there. But I like to see that the MACD is flattening out. Stochastic RSI is still turning down at the moment. But price is just consolidating in this area. I mean, ultimately, it's all about taking out this area around 110. We need to take out this area around 110 and begin battling higher price areas. So not too much else to comment on with Mana. Now, I did want to take a look at this relativity chart, one Mana real quick, or excuse me, one H-bar. For everyone new tuning in, make sure to hit the thumbs up button. I put a lot of work into providing free content. I'd appreciate the support. Yeah, I agree, Josh. I actually, so I have a moderate amount of capital that I'm looking to put into the markets this week. And one thing I was considering is I feel like I have enough H-bar. I really do. I have a decent amount of H-bar. But at these levels, I mean, I'm just looking at price here. I did not think we would hit this low. I really did not think. Where are we at? 5.8 cents, 5.6 cents. I'm thinking of throwing, I'm not going to tell you how much, actually. Let me refrain from that. But I'm thinking of throwing a decent chunk of change at this thing and saying, look, at 5 cents, fuck it. Like, I have this amount that I'm looking to put into the market. I'm going to allocate like this percentage amount to H-bar because it's just this oversold. So whether it's 20 or 30%, whatever the percentage is. And this is coming from a place, again, where I thought to myself, look, I have enough H-bar. I don't need any more H-bar. But at these levels, like, it just seems like way too much of a bargain. So I feel very confident I'm going to put another chunk of my fiat into H-bar this week. Now, I wanted to take a look at the one H-bar chart with you really quickly. Ignore the red lines for a moment because it was drawn on a higher time frame. But one of the things I was pointing out to you is that the price of one USD in relation to H-bar has become very suppressed. This does not speak to the relative price performance of any one cryptocurrency independently. It's not saying that H-bar is not going to perform well or one's going to do extraordinarily well. But here's what it is telling you. It's telling you that price performance wise, this drop, what it's telling you is one has very well underperformed H-bar. But based on the chart, I'm expecting it to reappreciate in value relative to H-bar, meaning for it to outpace H-bar. Okay, and I have this target zone drawn. Now, one of the key indicators I'm looking at, let's actually go, do I have this drawn on a 10-day? Yeah. So one of the key things I'm looking at, okay, I have this 44 area drawn on the RSI. And we have the purple crossing above the orange moving average here, but I'm waiting for this purple to cross above the 44 and for us to really make a clear, decisive break around 36%. That's how I'm looking at it. It's 0.36, but 36%. So the one USD in relation to H-bar is 36%. Once we break around 36% with volume, I'm expecting to get somewhere in between this 75% to 51%, okay? Meaning that one's USD value will be roughly between 51 to 75% of H-bar. So for example, if H-bar was at 10 cents, one would be somewhere between 5 cents and 7.5 cents, okay? So just keep an eye. You can go in TradingView, okay? You can go in TradingView, and this is how you build it. Okay, just take a look at my screen for a moment. If you guys have TradingView, this is how you can build this chart. Time frames I like to look at this chart on are on a weekly, a 10-day, and then I also have a 2-week chart. I also, well, not that I have a 2-week chart, but I have this on a 2-week that I like to look at. 44 is a key level on the RSI to take a look at. Thumbs up for everyone new joining. Going to take a look at Quant real quick. QN, ticker symbol QNT, and then we're going to get into more obscure charts that you guys might be a lot less familiar with. So this thing has been a fucking beast, okay? A beast. And it's actually done pretty much this is one of those charts. It's like, as a chartist, okay, I guarantee you, I promise you, welcome in, Nick. Glad to see you, my friend. Bull got about to go full-time YouTube. Someday, man, someday. That really is an aspiration and a goal of mine. I don't really want to go too much into that, actually, but Keeping that one close to the hip, but yes, I do have aspirations of doing a lot more in this space, but have to be patient. So anyway, real quick, as a chartist, okay, let me just say this. You guys follow a lot of other people out there, a lot of value-added content creators, right? And you have good calls and bad calls. Everyone has good calls and bad calls, right? Sushi has been a fucking piss poor call of mine, all right? At some point I'm going to create a video that looks at the bad calls as much as the good calls, okay? Sushi is a great example of something that went much, much, much lower than I had anticipated. Quant is a great example of something that, has just been perfect of what I've been speaking about. Let's take a look at what's going on here. So we have a high, a low, a higher high, and now we're waiting for another higher low, maybe down here, okay? But look at what has happened here. Let's look at the story of Quant. Let's create a story, because with every chart you can create a story. Here we're in a downward channel, okay? And what did I say when we're in the downward channel? Let's get this price indicator action off. Once we break, okay? Once we break the downward channel, what do we want to see? We want to see it back tested as support. And then we want to see continued movements up. And then when we back test here, we want this low to be higher than this low. And as long as that happens, we're still creating higher lows, right? And then we came up, we continued to move up, and we literally perfectly hit this spot right around 147, all right? We know, if you've been following me, we know this is going to be a major area of price confluence. We have a lot of resistance in that area, okay? And it's between 210, you can see here. Need to pick a different color. You can see it's between 210 and 147. This area is going to be major area of resistance. Once we begin, to clear 210, once we clear this area here, we're going to really start, it's going to get interesting. It looks like we have another area of resistance around 300. That's a psychological area. We have an area of resistance maybe around 358. And then it's just a matter of clearing the all-time high upwards of over 400, okay? But Quant is really a stronger performer in this market. I think it's all the way up into like 35. Where's it at in market ranking? 36. Wow. Okay. So it's overtaken H-bar and Decentraland Mana. It's been a very strong performer. So keep an eye on Quant. If you guys hold Quant, I know there's at least a few people here that do, including myself. But I know there's at least a few people here that do. Continue to keep an eye on it and accumulate when we see pullbacks, because this thing has been front-running the market and doing an exceptional job. So we have a few charts that we're going to take a look at here. Now, what I want to do is I'm going to take a look at 7 charts. And then so I'm going to take a look at 7 charts, and then I'm going to open it up to live TA Q&A discussion. Okay, so for anyone who wants to ask any questions, any crypto chart, or spoke to where I didn't really make a lot of sense, please let me know. I'd be happy to go back over any charts that I've been speaking to previously. But any crypto chart that you'd like, we can cover during the live QA. Well, I don't know why I continue to say live, because I'm live right now. But the live TA Q&A. So what are these? So there are 7 charts here, and these 7 charts represent smaller market capitalization projects that I either currently hold a small position in, or I'm currently planning to add more to during this week, or I'm looking to initiate an initial position this week. Does that make sense? So by the end of this week, I'm going to hold a position in all 7 of these for whichever ones I'm not. But I wanted to cover them up. And all these are not going to be on weekly time frames. Some of these are going to be on a lot smaller time frames. So the first one I wanted to take a look at is ticker symbol FULX, Flux. So this is actually on a 1-day time frame. I thought I had this on a 12-hour time frame. Let's take a look at it on a 12-hour time frame with the 50 and 200, which I like to take a look at. But you can see we have a clear, maybe I did have a, I apologize. Maybe this was on a 1 day. I'm confusing charts. Because the downward line of resistance doesn't make sense where it's, all right, let's look at it on a 3 day. So consolidate price action a bit, but you can see on a 3 day here, downward line of resistance right here, right? And then we have this upward line of support. But more importantly than the upward line of support, I have a golden zone drawn here. So what is the golden zone and why do I have it drawn? Well, this was an area of support that I can now draw as resistance. But as you can see, there's a lot of price confluence right here. And once we broke above, okay, we really broke above here, we started to skyrocket. My theory is that we could potentially backtest, especially depending how the rest of the market moves, we could potentially come as low as 65 cents. But anywhere between a break of this area, right in this area here that was temporary support, anywhere in this golden zone, and this really depends on your risk appetite, okay, on how much you want to put in within this area. This golden zone between 82, looks like 82 cents and 65 cents is a huge buy area for me. So this is ticker symbol FLX. I would check that one out. QSP is one that I have a really small amount in. I have a falling wedge here. There was some bullish divergence on the RSI that's starting to get somewhat negated. Price action has not been as strong as I would have hoped for. This is one that has not played out as well as I would have hoped. Originally, I had the falling wedge more so drawn like this. And you can see with the price action down here, we've fallen below. But it's not invalid to redraw the formation as this. That's not invalid because you still have wicks all along here, right? But this one's a little bit weaker than what I would have hoped for. I entered more so up in this green area at 1.8, 1.9 cents, even 2. I'm not sure where I scale in, to be honest with you, between 2 and 1.8 cents. But I have a very small position, not planning at the moment to put any more in here, but one that I would keep an eye on. That's ticker symbol QSP. The next one, which is a fan token, I would really keep an eye on this. And I would keep an eye on the genre of gaming sport tokens in general. But really what we may potentially have here is a flagpole and a pennant. And the technical target would put us all the way up near $17 if that were to play out. You just measure the pole here. Okay, that's all you do. You measure the pole and then take on the breakout, measure the distance up, okay? This is ticker symbol PORTO. And you can see that essentially what's going on here, this is on a 2-day, but basically we're just consolidating in this area. Again, the golden zone is my personal buy zone, okay? Anywhere in the golden zone, which are prior areas of price confluence, I really don't want to see it break below 4. You don't want to see this thing break below $4 because that would be, the floodgates would open up and this thing could go all the way down to $3. But I have a strong area of, and you can see there's prior price confluence here. Here, just about here, here, here. We broke above, and once we broke below, we went way lower. Once we broke up, we went much higher. So I have an area of price confluence right between 470 and about $6.45, we'll call it. So anywhere between 645 and 470, I call 475, is an area of support that I would be a buyer in. So we'll have to see if this flagpole pattern, if the bull pattern, I'm parsing words, not parsing words, I'm stumbling over my words. This is a bull pennant. We'll have to see if the bull pennant plays out. 4 more charts, and then I'm going to go to your questions. This is XDC. Now, this is a project people have pointed out to me quite often. And I got to tell you, looking at this chart, this is, of the charts I have up here, this may be the most beautiful chart. This is an extremely beautiful chart. Like, I'm really excited about this chart, okay? This is on the 2-week. We see the MACD beginning to curl up, okay? And we look like we could get across. RSI is in a decent zone at about 42. Stochastic RSI is positive above 20 at 32. Okay, and what I'm seeing here is a rounding bottom, And I got to tell you, this chart leaves me feeling very bullish. Let's take a look at the downward area of resistance. For anyone in, so is anyone here in XDC? For everyone new joining, is anyone in ticker symbol XDC? We are sitting right now at 3.2 cents, essentially. So what I want to see, see this right here? What I want to see is price action. We have the low, we have the high, we have the higher low. Now I want price to come up here, battle this, and create another higher high, okay? We got 2 higher highs and 2 higher lows. That's what I want to see on XDC in the short term. But this, I got to tell you, I think of the 7 charts I have up here, this is the one that I'm most bullish about. It looks really strong. Yeah, I know, Nick, 12 hour. We're beginning to, if you're looking to scale in, what I would wait, I have a couple areas of support here. Really, it's this zone. It's between 4.2 cents and 3.9 cents. And you also have the 200 SMA on the 12 hour to be an area of potential support for price. That's what I would hone in on. And especially now we've broken down below the 50, it seems likely we could churn down into this area in here. So I would be patient with this one. But this is another lower market cap, layer 1 scaling solution that I sort of stumbled upon just with my own independent research. Looks like it may have bottomed out, sort of been, you know, consolidating in this range with the rest of the market, had a bottom here, consolidating, hit a high, kind of maybe pull back and see continued upside. So one that I would keep an eye on. 2 more. This is ticker symbol MPL. I have an area of support right around 1636, which lines up with the 200 SMA on the 12 hour. Okay, so if you're looking to get into this one, I personally would wait for a pullback closer to this area around $16. Yeah, let's go to a higher time frame here. Get off the moving averages. Yeah, so you can see we had a significant drop in price here, created a low. Definite area, definite area of resistance around $23, $24. You can see that, I mean, guys, come on. Look, resistance, once we broke above, we went above. Once we broke below this area, we broke below. Once we got back above it, we broke up. This $16 is a major area of price confluence. So if you're looking to get into MPL, if you want to give it a look, I would wait for a pullback, say, you know, it looks like it could pull back 10, 11, 12, 13%. I would wait for a little bit of a pullback. Last one I know is near and dear to everyone's heart here, or at least to a few of you, is Casper. So I have finally begun my research. So let me say this. I've been doing some research on Casper. And I like what I've seen so far. I like what I've been reading. I like what I've been hearing. One thing I do not like. One thing I found about the project I do not like. And that would be the CEO's haircut. What is up with that dude's haircut? What is up with that? I'm sorry. It just bothers me. I don't know why. I'm just listening to him like, dude, cut your hair. Like, he has long hair that's going almost into his one eye. I just want to like get a pair of scissors and just fucking cut it off. But besides that, I like what I've been finding so far. But what I would say is that I've already positioned myself a small amount into here just because I feel like based on the pattern that's presented here, I feel like most likely as long as Bitcoin has bottomed, as long as Bitcoin has bottomed, this area is signaling consolidation and the low that we're going to see, okay? And yeah, we're starting to see, you can also see here a rise in the RSI as well as price has just stagnated, okay? So I have a small position. Now, what's going to dictate whether or not I want to take a larger position is as I continue to do my research and feel fundamentally that this is a solid project to invest in. that I feel like putting a larger amount of my capital in, but I at least have a small position in this for the moment. So thank you for the community for pointing this one out to me. So again, if you're looking to get into this project, again, I feel like it's a great opportunity to get in right here. I wouldn't sugarcoat, or I wouldn't, not sugarcoat, I would not get too pretty with the price, okay, and overthink it. I have an area, look at this. I have an area between 3 cents, okay, 3.1 cents and 2.6 to 2.5. So you're talking about, look at this. So you're talking about a 23% range in price, okay? A 23% range in price. So anywhere in here, I would scale in, and really where we're at within this range is about the midpoint, okay? A little above the midpoint. So it's a great point within this range to start accumulating, okay? In my opinion, never financial advice, but in my opinion. Yes, I did see that this is your largest holding, Nick. I did note that. So this is the last chart that I wanted to cover. So with that being said, I'm going to pull up. I'm going to pull out. Oh. That has saved me one too many times. Maybe that'll be well, no, I don't think that'll be a discussion on the happy hour. Let's not go there. So I pulled out a blank chart here, and I am waiting for some questions. So I'm going to give this a few seconds and see if anybody has any crypto TNA questions for me. I can pull up anything on this chart. As you can see, the last chart I pulled up on the blank chart was XDC for myself to kind of chart this thing out. So does anybody have any questions for me? Did I rename this? I guess I didn't rename it. What the fuck? That's disappointing. Anyone have any... Guys, I feel like the past couple weeks I've gotten to this section of the live stream and I ask people if they have any questions, and literally no one has anything they want me to chart. You're telling me there's nothing you want me to chart, which is fine by me. I mean, if I've covered everything, I've covered everything. Look, CBG does not go to bed late. It's almost 9 o'clock, all right? My alarm's already set for like 5:45, all right? I'm getting up at 5:45 tomorrow morning. So I'm happy to go in bed, chill, throw on. You know what I've actually been watching? What I just started turning. I was struggling to find a good TV show. Well, I feel like we've gone back into happy hour mode, and it's Wednesday. But just to digress for a moment, as everyone's getting their questions together, I will chart that, Nick. Absolutely. I was watching. Oh, I know what I was watching. Netflix. I was watching and look. I don't know what the hell to search for. I don't know what it's called, but just search out GameStop, and I'm sure you'll find it. All right. So you want me to chart A0? I thought I actually had a chart saved for that. Yeah, I know you're big on that. You really like you some A0. Has a cool, I will say it has a cool name. YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. As such, viewers will experience buffering. Open widget. I don't know what the fuck open widget means, but this is the error. Well, we certainly can't do a 2-week chart. Did I chart this one? Oh, I must have charted this one with you guys. Let's look at a 12-hour. I apologize. Guys, can you still see the video format? Is that okay? Because I'm getting an error message from YouTube. Just someone acknowledge that the stream is coming through, because I'm sort of concerned. No one's commenting. I don't know how to take that. Well, hopefully you're... Oh, it is? Okay, cool. So let's get off the price indicators for... God damn it. Let's get off the price indicators for a moment. And here is my assessment of this chart. This is really interesting. I'm going to give you commentary in a second. Bear with me. Oh, yeah. I love me some price confluence. I love price confluence. There's nothing more sexy than price confluence. Look, it's the sexiest thing I have in my life right now, right? I mean, beggars can't be choosers, right? Everybody's got something, right? I mean, at least I got something. All right, so welcome in, everybody. Hit the thumbs up button. We're taking a look at ticker symbol AZERO for those new tuning in and who just tuned out. This red area is a major area of resistance, okay, with time here. Good, I got more questions. So here's how I would, let me see if there's any, I feel like there's going to be bullish divergence. MACD is curling up, which is good to see. Stochastic RSI looks like it wants to curl. This is on the 12-hour, by the way. Not a lot of price data, so I'm trying to get more granular. Okay, so this is good to see. This is good to see. Now, look what's going on here. I'm going to paint a picture for you. Again, every chart has a story behind it. It has a Philadelphia Eagles 4-0. Just ran out of water. Every chart you can create a story. Price has consolidated in here. It's just been doing this. But look at the RSI. It's increasing, right? It's increasing. So there's bullish divergence on the 12-hour, leading us to conclude that we may see a move to the upside. But there's areas of resistance, okay? We need to get out of this $1.07, get out of this $1.12. Once we break around, and call us $1.13. Once we break $1.13, we have a major, call this a cloud, okay? Like in Super Mario Brothers. I was playing Super Mario Brothers 3 this weekend. It's the first time I played Nintendo in God knows how long. But I fired up the Nintendo and I was playing Super Mario Brothers 3. I didn't have much better to do with my time. So there's a major cloud here, like in Super Mario Brothers. There's a major area of resistance between $1.19 and $1.39. So once we clear $1.07, which is major, look at how many times we hit it here, okay? Let's get above this pain in the ass. $1.07 is like a pain in the ass. We need to get above it. Once we break $1.07, it's not going to be long until we get this area, right around $1.13. Once we break 113, we have a huge cloud between $1.40 and $1.19. Okay? Once we break there, once we break $1.40, once you see A0 break $1.40, we're testing all-time highs around $1.60. Okay? Then it's a blue sky breakout once we break $1.60. I got to say, actually, thank you for pointing this one out. Now, I know, Nick, that you've pointed this one out before, and I know that you speak to this one on your channel quite a bit, but I appreciate you refreshing my memory on this. Again, when you have a lot of stuff going on, you can't keep track of everything. It's impossible. So I'm actually going to add this to my list of low market cap tokens to potentially put a small amount position in. All-time highs around 3. Yeah, it's just probably the exchange I'm using, right? And I'm assuming, yeah, if it launched during a bear market, it's not going to spell well. I will say, though, the chart setup looks really nice. I like how it's consolidating in here with some bearish or bullish divergence. So I'll have to take a closer look at this one on my own. But that's what I see on this chart for A0. It must be the exchange why it's not showing $3. It only shows $1.60 here. All right, so I had one more question on Iota. It's an older project. Excuse me. I need some agua. Necesito agua. Oh, wow. You know what? I'm not even going to look at that shit. We're just going to... I don't know what that was. That looked horrible. Okay. Let's look at a weekly. I know I'll have a lot of price data on this one. Really? Not as much as I thought. Okay. So this is a weekly view on Iota. Brendan, interesting you're asking about Iota. I've never really heard anyone ask about this project. I know it's been around for a while. I feel like this one was around pre-2017. Although Binance doesn't have price history until 2018 for some reason. I don't know why. But let's go on a smaller time frame. I like looking at the 3-day. I betcha if we draw that line right there, yeah, you know what I say, guys, there's always zones of support, right? So it's never perfect lines. So I would call this a zone. Anytime we've sort of broken above the top area, we've had a breakout in price. Oh, okay, I wasn't aware of that. Okay, so they did a rebuild that launched last year. Okay. So anytime we've gotten above the top green line, we've seen a run up in price. Anytime we've fallen below the lower line, we've typically seen a fall down. You can see here we got back above it temporarily and then had a fall down with the beer virus. And again, but anytime we've gotten above this line, a big rise up, we're sort of holding this as support, which is good to see. That's around, yeah, so unless if the market tanks, you can see we're around 25 cents, 23 cents. The 25 to 23 cent area looks like it's a great opportunity to get in. You can see our all-time high here was about 270. Okay. So what would I say for Iota? Well, first off, if I was looking to get in, I would put a portion of my position in right now, and then I would wait to see if we would touch lower to 25 to 23 cents before putting the rest of my position in. Is that Tone Vase's token? I hear he loves that token. Just saying. That guy's a fucking ass. Did I just say that? Yeah, you know what? I did just say that. So, here's a downward area of resistance. We definitely need to see this break to feel convicted strength is coming back into this project, okay? But let's not just talk about a downward area of resistance, right? Because this is a huge move up to get up here to like 80 cents at that point, right? At the current state of where we're at. Let's actually look for other areas of price confluence that we're going to battle. So it looks like right around there, kind of like that. Yeah. There's a zone here between, I want it right there, 37 to 39 cents. Okay, we need to break 37 to 39 cents. Once we break 37 to 39 cents, it looks like yeah, it's not perfect. Again, these charts aren't perfect, but I'd say the next area would be around 59 cents. We'll call it 60 cents. So once we break, so on Iota, what I would look for is a test up to this area. We want to see the 39 to 37 cent area break. Once that area breaks, look for around 59 cents. We need to see that break. Once 59 cents breaks, you can call it 60 cents, right? Let's not get cute with the price. You can call it 60 cents. Once 60 cents breaks, it's all about this downward area resistance. And again, maybe we don't get up there. This downward area of resistance, it all depends when we get up to challenge that price, right? If we shot up, here's my point. If we shot up today, right now, the downward area of resistance is like 81 cents versus in December, if we shot up in price, it's at 70 cents. Okay, so that's what I mean. So we really, in the short term, what we should be focused on is first 37 to 39 cents. That's the first area. Once we break 37 to 39 cents, let's look for around 60 cents in this downward area of resistance right here. So that's what I would look for on Iota. Thank you for both questions, by the way. All right, guys, that's all I have. So I'm going to be doing the happy hour on Wednesday. I'll have a little bit of a minor announcement to share with you guys to start off the live stream on Wednesday, sharing what's going on. But as always, you know, tune in on Wednesday for the Bitcoin crypto happy hour. Make sure you have a drink on hand. But thanks for tuning in for the weekly close. This has been very engaging. I appreciate everybody's questions, comments to make this engaging. I appreciate coming on here. Thank you to everyone who I recognize here, many names who I've spoken to here, and thank you for some newer names who have joined. So if you appreciate the content, once again, subscribe to the channel. Hit the thumbs up button, drop a comment, and as always, spread awareness and carry the education forward. All right, guys? Have a good evening and a great start to the week. All right? Chat with you guys later.